Primary season is rolling onward with some notable results coming in from different corners of the country last night. State primaries took place in Colorado, New York, South Carolina, and Utah. Many incumbents went unchallenged, as you may expect, but there were more than a few contested races to keep an eye on. One of those in New York's 16th congressional district, where the incumbent Democratic Representative Jamaal Bowman was unseated by George Latimer. Bowman's defeat a loss for the progressive movement. Then in Colorado, the most closely watched race was in the state's 4th district on the Republican side. Incumbent Boebert, who changed districts between 2022 and 2024, fended off a host of challengers and will likely go on to win another term in November. Joining us now to take a look at yesterday's most significant results is reporter and co-author of Politico's New York Playbook, Jeff Coltin. Jeff, thanks so much for being here. And why don't we start in the state you know best, New York. We see progressive incumbent Jamaal Bowman losing his seat to the more moderate candidate. This race largely focused on the politics surrounding the war in Israel. What does it tell us about the divide within the Democratic Party right now?
Yeah, definitely. This was a big focus of the race, and Jamaal Bowman was one of the first Congress members to call for a ceasefire, and that ended up being quite a controversial position among this district. It's a relatively moderate suburban New York, just north of New York City district. But of course, that wasn't the only factor. I mean, one of the biggest things here is that George Latimer, who ended up winning, he's the Westchester County executive. He's basically an incumbent. He already represented basically the entire district, so many of these voters. And so that really helped erase Jamaal Bowman's incumbency advantage, because a lot of the folks were saying, well, George Latimer is also effectively an incumbent. So it was more than just Israel. It was also those on-the-ground factors. And of course, the fact that Bowman, frankly, had been branded as a wild card and frankly, a loser because of things like that fire alarm scandal from last year. So really, the ground was seeded for a Latimer victory even before this massive influx of spending into the race, the most expensive House primary in U.S. history, according to folks who track that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it is an incredible thing. Can you remind our viewers quickly about the fire alarm scandal?
Yes. So there was a big vote on a weekend in the House, and I think it was in October or November. Bowman was running late, and he pulled a fire alarm, and he says it was just a mistake. He was trying to open up this door to go run over to the Capitol from the House office building. But frankly, I think there are still some questions about whether he was maybe trying to delay the vote for some reason, or whether it was an honest mistake. And even if it was an honest mistake, then I think a lot of people thought that it reflected poorly upon him, because most people don't make the mistake of pulling a fire alarm for any reason. So
right.
Yes, I mean, look, that was one little incident, but I think it really stuck in a lot of voters' minds as exemplary of somebody who was frankly just not in the mainstream of the party.
Okay, I appreciate that information. The Democratic primary in New York's 16th district, as you said, the most expensive in U.S. history, apparently estimated at more than $24 million spent on that race. Where's the ceiling here? I mean, are these primary races just going to get more and more expensive?
That's certainly what it seems like. I mean, of course, after the Citizens United ruling in the Supreme Court, super PAC spending has gone through the roof. This is a absolute new record. And in fact, a lot of commentary today is that this was really a show of force. I mean, Latimer ended up winning by 17 points. There's an argument that he would have won even in the absence of this spending, or at least there could have been a lot less spending. But AIPAC, the pro-Israel group, and one of its super PACs, UDP, they wanted to show that their spending could unseat a socialist, aligned, progressive incumbent. And they got that. So, yes, I think this will, frankly, only encourage more spending in similar races in the future, because AIPAC got what it wanted and they unseated Jamaal Bowman.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.